So just to be clear, before we start, we are not an agency.
Absolutely not. And nothing is sponsored.
Hi everyone, I'm Jellic.
And I'm Camille. And as we mentioned in the previous episode, we're going to discuss today the visa requirements and any other documents that you will need to basically get out of the Philippines and go
Yes.
to Europe, to your target
Yes,
country. All
yes,
right.
exactly. So just to be clear, before we start, we are not an agency.
Absolutely not. And nothing is sponsored. We are not an agency. We don't review
But
any documents or data. These are always from our personal experience.
yes, yes. Please keep that in mind and
Mm,
grab your pen and paper so we can start.
yes, awesome. So let's start with you, Jalik.
So obviously, to work in the Netherlands, you first need a job, which I
Mhm.
briefly discussed the process last time. So you can find there the information how to find a job and everything. So once you find the job, everything will be easy in terms of the visa process. So when you get accepted and you get to the offer stage, the HR people of the company will usually contact you and start the relocation process. First, they will send you all these forms from the IND, which is the Immigration and Naturalization Service of the
Mm,
Netherlands. So you need to answer some forms in order to start to process your residence permit, which you need to be able to live in the Netherlands.
right.
So once you get that form, you submit it, they will also ask you to answer another form for your MVV, which is the visa itself. So MVV is for the authorization of temporary stay. If
Mm-hmm.
you want to stay longer than 90 days, basically not a tourist visa,
Mm-hmm.
more of a residence permit kind of thing here in the Netherlands. So that MVV, you need to pick up the sticker in the embassy in the Philippines. So that's located in Makati. Basically, that's it for the visa. It's very easy because the HR of your company will mostly process it. As mentioned as again in the previous episode, what's the most time consuming of it all is the OEC, which is a particular process in the Philippines. So
Mm-hmm.
this is not international everywhere. Each country has their own process for their own version of OFWs or their
Right.
overseas workers. What do you actually need to get an OEC? So everything that I'm gonna share here is documented on the DMW website. DMW is the Department of Migration Workers. It's a Philippine government website, and I
Mm-hmm.
will post the links in the description so everyone could
Right.
follow as well. You need to go to this checklist. It's called professional checklist, and you will find two phases there, phase 1 and phase 2. And everything you need is listed on that document. Phase 1, you can see number 1, of course, your passport with a validity period of not less than 1 year.
Yeah.
So basically, you need to be able to have a valid passport that's not going to expire soon. Make sure that you renew it if you're planning to leave soon. That's very
Mm-hmm.
obvious, of course. And then the second is the work visa. So that's the first part wherein the HR of your company has already processed. So
Mm-hmm.
that should be easy to get. The third one is employment contract, which will also be coming from your HR partner. This contract should be verified by the POLO. So POLO is the Philippines Overseas Labor Office. You don't have to do anything. The HR or your company or the company sponsoring you should submit the documents to the nearest POLO. In this case, in the Netherlands, the nearest one is in Berlin, Germany.
Mm-hmm.
So they sent my contract, my papers to the Polo in Berlin to have it verified by the Filipino representative there. They need to send it back to my company. And then
Mm-hmm.
my company needs to send it to me, the
Yeah.
actual papers, because the DMW requires it. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a long time of wait, probably a month. But here you just need to wait. You don't have to do anything on your end. So once you get that one, you also need the company profile, the business license and commercial registration of the employer. Again, this is from your company. They will send it to
Right.
you, all signed and verified by the Polo.
Mm-hmm.
And the Polo endorsement letter. This is important if you are a direct hire.
True.
I think the usual process for our OFWs are through an agency. But since I'm a direct hire, my company hired me directly, no agency.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, there is a ban that you're not allowed to go out of the country if you are a direct hire.
Right.
Kind of crazy, right?
Exactly. But
So,
when during the time of your application, it wasn't
mhm.
in place yet, the ban.
It was
It
already
was
in
already.
place. That's
Okay.
why I needed this endorsement letter. My company wrote me a letter that the Polo in Berlin verified, basically saying that please allow me
Yes.
to be exempted from this ban on the direct hire.
Right. But you know,
So,
Jalik, that's the difficult one actually, is to find a company who's willing to go like
exactly.
to do all this effort, because
Mhm.
otherwise that's really a problem, because most companies don't really want to do so much effort to have someone
That's
from the
true.
Philippines who has a direct hire ban. They really want you.
That's true. I feel my
True.
hair a bit. No, no, but you're really right about that. The company has put a lot of trust in me and I
True.
as well in them. So,
Mm-mm.
one advice as well is when you're looking for a company, make sure that you feel comfortable with this company and that they're accommodating you and taking care of you. Here in my company, I feel very welcome. All my questions were answered, they reply in time, and it's not like I'm chasing them. It felt like they were chasing me and they really wanted
Mm.
me. It's a win-win for both of us. So the company and me. So that's really nice.
That's true.
So the
Mm-hmm.
next one, depending on your market, there's gonna be country specific requirements like in Canada, USA or Middle East, but I didn't need that because I'm going in the Netherlands, so I can't speak
Right.
for it. What I instead needed to supply is the additional documents, which are certificate of employment, your
Mm-hmm.
diploma, your TOR from
Right.
college, lastly is your resume. So you
Mm-hmm.
need to combine all of them in one document
Mm-hmm.
and then supply it as the number 6 required in phase 1. And then lastly, for phase 1, you need a notarized statement on how you secured your job. So you can find
Mm.
multiple templates in the Facebook group or
Always.
online. You can find a template there. You basically just need to say there how you found the job and
Mm-hmm.
how the process went and then have it notarized. So go to a notary office, to a lawyer, ask for their signature and stamp. And as well as the statement for your additional documents, which are your TOR, diploma, and everything. You
Mm-hmm.
also need to have that statement notarized as well. So two documents to notarize.
Mm-hmm. Around how much was that, if you remember?
One paper, one signature, 500 pesos. So that's two papers, 1,000 pesos. And I wanted to have a copy of my own because this is
Mm.
the one I'm going to submit. So I
True.
had four copies. So that's 2,000 pesos
True.
just for the notary. So that's the start of all the things I'm going to pay. In phase two, there are a lot more that I need to pay. That's phase one. Pretty straightforward if you read this checklist that I'm sharing.
Mm.
And if you go to the Facebook group and look at the previous experiences of other OFW, so you really
True.
understand and get the hang of it. And especially if your company is very cooperative to your questions and they're accommodating. So it's gonna be a relatively smooth process. Let's start with phase two. Number one of phase two is the e-registration account. You can find this on the DNW website. There's a link there that redirects you to the OFW registration portal. You can see it somewhere here. It looks like this. And you need to sign up there because that's where you're gonna submit your documents, fill out everything on the details section, just like social media with your information.
True.
So once you have the account and you submitted phase one, you have to wait for it to be in status for approval before you
Ah,
can
okay.
proceed in other steps of the phase two.
Mm-hmm.
So that would take, depending on your documents, how clear they are and how fast the official as well is working.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it would take a week, 2 weeks. Some people I heard took so long, 2 months, 3 months. Give it some leeway, probably.
True.
But for me, it was pretty fast. I would say a week. And I really had to make sure all my documents were really clear. They were nicely scanned. That's
Mm.
important. All signatures are clear because if they see one smudge, one blurred line, they will ask you to resubmit.
Yeah.
So Please make sure that they are super clear. It's worth it to go to a computer shop
Mm.
to have your documents scanned. Just make sure your documents are clear. After you get that for approval status, you can proceed with the other steps. So the
Mm.
number two in phase two is your medical certificate. You can find DOH accredited medical clinic to conduct a
Yeah.
medical exam for you. You have to pay. Depending on the clinic, it's gonna cost you around 1,000 to 3,000 pesos. Not sure what the
Uh,
price now. It's a full body checkup. They will check your eyes, your everything, your poop, your pee,
yeah. Mhm.
everything. The next one is you need the pre-employment orientation seminar.
Oh, yeah.
I might have interchanged it, but
Yeah.
I did one self-paced and I did another with an online remote instructor.
Mm.
These are two seminars. So the pre-employment orientation seminar and the pre-departure orientation seminar.
Mhm.
So those are the next two seminars that you need that are part of phase two. You need to listen. They're gonna present you. It's a seminar. They're gonna
Yeah.
present you and prep you before you leave. It's nice actually. It's very helpful and very informational. For example, who do you need to contact when you're in danger abroad? Because
Oh,
you don't
yeah,
have a
that's very
family,
true.
you don't have
Mm.
friends, so you have the Philippine embassy there. It's very helpful. I recommend that you really listen and pay attention. So
Mm.
it's nice. Lastly, you need certificate of insurance, which
Mm.
you have to pay for as well. Unfortunately, it's required by law. This is for repatriation in case of death. If something bad happens, this insurance will make sure that your body gets back to the
Yeah.
Philippines and
Mm.
then that your family gets a certain amount for a year. I think that's what the insurance is for. I might have skipped some steps. For example, in phase two, I skipped step number two and
Mhm.
step number six because these are not needed for direct hires, or at least in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
And I can't really explain much more than that. Those are the things you need for the OEC. And then
Mm.
you submit that phase two and
Mhm.
then monitor your eReg account, and then you will see their approve and you're good to go. You print that one.
Mm.
You go to the office, DMW, I forgot where it is. Somewhere I will post it. So you
Yeah.
go to the office, you bring everything, you print everything.
Print
Make
everything.
sure the bring the original, the
Yeah.
one that came from your company, from Polo. My documents are literally one binder of
Yeah.
everything.
That's true.
I have the original and I have two copies. I'm
Yeah.
that I'm that paranoid about it. So bringing everything and then you now have to go to the DMW and then queue up for you to get your OECs. For the OEC, which I also mentioned in the previous episode, costed around 7,000 pesos. And
Mm.
after that, your OEC will be printed or sent to you in the email and then you have it. You're good. You can now leave the Philippines.
Ah, okay, perfect. And then you just bring all the printed on board to go through
Yes.
immigration, you print everything.
Yes. The most important, of course, your passport with the visa on it and the
Yeah.
OEC. But I
Mhm.
also wanted to make sure that if there were questions from the immigration officer, I could answer it and provide it with
Yeah.
the paper because I'm also scared with all the stories, you know.
Yeah,
So
exactly. It's
I have
difficult
to
to
make
pass.
sure I have my evidence in my
That's
back
true.
pocket. Yeah, so I also brought everything. The original, the DMW will get
They
it,
have.
so I have my
Mhm.
copies on my own. The immigration officer I had was kind, I would say, not the one
Mm.
I'm hearing. So he asked for my passport and then he saw the visa and then asked
Mhm.
for my OEC and then asked me a couple questions. What's your company? How long are you gonna stay? How long is the contract? I think he also asked me for my contract, which I also
Mhm.
have. So be prepared.
True.
Yeah, and then he was happy about it because everything looks okay. It's follow verified as well, so that's
Mm.
important. One advice I would say is don't look too nervous or suspicious. If you're sure of the process you went through,
Yeah.
I mean, you went through a lot, so you have to be confident now that when you're about to leave, that you have everything. But be humble. Don't be, above the immigration officer
True.
or anyone else. It's his job. You also have a job, so just a
Yeah.
mutual respect from each of you, and it's going to be a smooth process.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
just make
true.
sure you have everything. You went through a legal process,
Mm.
and everything will be good for you. And that's
Yeah,
it.
exactly. That's good advice. Be confident but humble at the same time. So,
Yes, yes.
yeah.
All right, that's it for the process I went through. It has been a long time and I want to forget it.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
let's go
Things you
to
want to
you. Maybe
forget.
you can share the process you went through for the
Yeah.
marriage path. Yeah.
This is just gonna be quick. Practically, these are the things that I would love to forget too.
Mm-hmm.
And first thing, of course, is the application form. You will find it through the VIA website where you submit your documents for the visa. So you fill out the application form, and then, of course, you need to have your current biometric passport pictures. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you need to have like, I don't know, maybe two or to four more copies of your passport pictures, and you do the
Mm.
biometrics there anyway on
Ah, yes,
VIA,
I did that as
right?
well. See, I forgot. I did that as well when I went
That
to the
one.
embassy.
And then there's also a checklist form. So it's on the website as well. It's pretty much all the basic documents that you need. But the problem is, even if you tick off the basic documents, sometimes that's not enough, especially if you're going for marriage, because they want
Mm-hmm.
solid evidence that you have a genuine relationship with the foreigner. And then, of course, your passport. It's obvious. And then the copy of your passport's biographical page and any
Mm-hmm.
stamps that you had when you traveled abroad. It might be a problem sometimes if you want to reunite with your foreign boyfriend, but you don't have any passport stamps. It might be a red flag because you haven't had any evidence yet that you went out of the country and you went back when,
Mm-hmm.
like, in time. It shouldn't be a red flag, but
Mm-hmm.
that's how it goes for the Philippines, unfortunately. And then I also needed to provide my birth certificate and then proof of social security contributions. Now, I was working as a freelancer. It was optional for me to contribute to social security, but I already had accounts open for PhilHealth, SSS,
Yeah.
Pag-ibig, which
Yeah.
were automatically deducted when I used to work in a company
Yeah.
before. So I needed to look for those documents. Fortunately, I still have them, and also my TIN number and things like that. I also printed them out, even if the contributions were many years ago. And then bank certificate. So this one costs around, my bank was BPI. It cost around 200, I think. 200
Mm-hmm.
pesos to get the certificate, and then bank statement. So bank statement, usually you can print up to, I'm not sure anymore if it was up to 3 months or 6 months, but you can find it in the app itself, or yeah, in the
Okay.
banking app. So you gather that, you print it out. I don't know actually how long should it cover, but I submitted
Mm,
mine covering the last 10 months.
10
So
months.
yeah, just
Just to
for a
be
sol.
sure, get the
Yeah,
whole year
exactly.
already. Yeah.
A solid proof that money is coming in every month
Yes.
regularly. By the way, in the bank certificate, it's important because it's also written there your average
Mm-hmm.
daily balance. Because it
Mm.
will be a red flag if no money is coming in, or let's say very little money is coming in from your job. And then to apply for the visa, suddenly you have a remittance of 100,000 pesos. So
Mm.
that's
So it
considered a red flag.
looks like done for show. Yeah.
Exactly. It's
Mhm.
specifically done just to show that you have money like that.
Show money, that's why
Show
we call it.
exactly. And then the contract that I have for the condo, and then
Mm-hmm.
certificate of compensation. This is like my certificate of employment. But as I mentioned, I'm not employed. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
freelancer. So what I can get from my company before is compensation. I am doing this role, and this is the amount that they pay, and it's signed by the CEO of the company that I was working
Mm-hmm.
for. And then no objection letter. So by the way, it was tricky for me for the visa because, for example, I don't have a physical company to go back to. I'm
Mm-hmm.
freelancer and I'm working from home. I can practically work in Europe or anywhere that
Yeah.
I want, right? And for strong ties, one of the strong ties that you can actually give is that my company will look for me. I need to go back to
Yeah.
office. And I didn't have that. So I was working online. So yeah, I provided instead a no objection letter that they don't have any problems. I can work when I arrive in Italy. I can work whenever the heck I want.
Mm. And this is something your online
Hmm.
employers need to
Provide.
sign as well?
Yes, they need to
Ah, okay.
sign it. And then, of course, my income tax return.
Yes.
I think 2 years or 1 year. I'm not sure. Just to be sure. I always just to be sure.
Just to be sure. Just to be sure. If you're in doubt, get the longer period.
True. And then also, I'm a registered freelancer. I'm a registered freelancer who gives consultation services like that.
Mm.
So I have my BIR certificate of registration and I submitted that too. And then my payslip for the last 6 months, certificate of my investment and my insurance that I used to have in the Philippines. And then, like you mentioned, the travel health insurance as well.
Yes.
So mine costs around 44 euros. It's map fre, but of course we'll show the document anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then flight booking. This is important, by the way. Do not buy the tickets because the ticket itself will
Mm.
cost so much. Okay?
So much. Yes.
So it would hurt, of course, if you already bought the ticket and then you get your visa rejected. What are you gonna do? You cannot go out of the country. So you just need a
Mm.
flight booking. From Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
there are people offering this, and I paid around 800 to 1,000 pesos for a flight booking, just to show that you have a specific date that you're going to Europe. I also gathered the travel tickets. This is not needed, but again, to be sure.
Mm-hmm.
Travel tickets and travel pictures that we had together. So we
Oh, yeah.
went to Taiwan, to Indonesia. So I gathered our pictures from there and then I saved also our tickets.
Mm.
And then any proof of remittance, if ever you had any from before, like your foreign partner sent you an amount of money or things like that. It might also be a
Mm-hmm.
proof of your strong relationship that you're willing to share money.
Mm.
Like that. But not, of course, that he's the one providing for you. That might be a red flag.
True.
Or one that he just sent to show the money. Like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's really important. You said this as well previously to
Yeah.
have something for yourself and
Yeah.
start, earning for yourself. Gonna be
Exactly.
easier for you in the future.
True. And then for my boyfriend's part, he needed to give me a copy of his national ID and then a copy of his passport, a copy of his driver's license, and then
Mm-hmm.
his residence certificate that he needs to get in the city hall here that he actually lives in this house where I am staying. Because instead of hotel bookings, I'm going to stay in his house, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he needs the certificate that he lives there. And then his certificate of employment. And then he also needs to write the invitation letter, practically saying, inviting me to live with him. Like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then another certification, but this is just Italy stuff. I'm
Mm.
going to post the
All
document
right.
itself.
Yeah.
And then another letter for that your boyfriend actually stating that you have a
Mm-hmm.
stable relationship, like as if the other
Mm-hmm.
things are not enough. Oh yeah. And
As if the
then
pictures, the messages
yeah.
are not enough.
And then proof of sponsorship.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's going to sponsor anything like the house, of course, I wouldn't be renting on him, right? We pay for his rent and things like that. So proof of sponsorship, and then his bank statement, his pay
Mm-hmm.
slips, and
Mm-hmm.
then also any health insurance payment receipt. So
Oh,
yeah, that's basically it for me.
nice. I mean, nice now, right? If we look back on it, but
Yeah,
when we were actually going through it,
yeah,
hell. So
absolutely.
painful, so stressful, but yeah, I hope this helps a lot of people, especially our Filipinos who want to migrate.
That's
This
it
is
for this.
Oh, maybe we could talk about the timeline briefly. When did
Mm.
we, for example, start and then when did we fly?
True. Ay, wait lang. Kailangan ko na pala umalis.
Kailangan ko na umalis?
Oo.
Oh, sige, sige.